with the yard rail. Well, within the yard rail yard. The yard shall be marked, for example, using entering and signing stating yard rules apply, upping existing and exciting stating mainline rules apply. While operating within the yard limits, train locomotives shall not exceed speeds within enable of the train locomotive to stop short of another train or other locomotive instructions or switch not properly lined. Trains or locomotives operate within the yard shall not exceed 10 miles per hour or lesser speeds as designated by a local SOP. The main track rules only exist when access is controlled by means of railway dispatcher. The operator shall follow guidance lines of only one of the in each absolute block. The railroad dispatcher should not allow any train locomotives to occupy a previous occupied another train locomotive until the dispatcher confirmation from the conductor engineer that the original train of the locomotive is no longer in the block, that the train shall only be allowed to enter the same block if controlled by a train order or a positive signal protection or both. Flagging protection is necessary. In train crew notices, the train crew are noticed to provide a means of alerting crews to local situation that arise which are not covered by other directives. The described situation may be present for any period of time. Example of these situations include out-of-service tracks, slow orders, washouts, trucks under repair, track under repair, inactive track, and the situation that often hazards crews and need to be aware of is operated safety, and they notice that they shall be kept up to daily, reviewed daily, and they shall be issued on as a needed basis. Crew members shall sign in the log sheet and the company's crane crew notice before that they shift. They shall not only note the highest number of the number present, since Appendix B samples Form 2 track crew notice and Form 3 track crew notice acknowledgement sheet. One system is the maintaining train crew notice and a use of an electronic print board. Key safety related information entered into the printer required railroad personnel in beginning in the shift acknowledgement that they have done so. A signature on the board. Well, all they have read and signed is the railway supervisor's prints on the board. The copies provide a record of a key information signature personnel who have read the information. The track crew notice numbered consecutively beginning with January 1st each year and issued and canceled in transportation supervisor and others designated officers. Notification of emergency vehicle movement. Emergency vehicle include fire trucks, ambulance, security vehicles. Installation commanders shall ensure local railroad operating includes requirement of notification railroad when an emergency and transit emergency site. The reason that requirements is the facility is safe, rapid movement of emergency equipment without having to deal with the trains blocking the roadway. The track out of service procedure. The track needs to be taken out of the service for a variety of reasons. Planned maintenance safe to safe the unsafe conditions of it to abandonment. Clear records shall be kept of the actions on the track and is and out of the service is not used. These records shall be part of the track crew notice book. Signals an object to any person on the near track is a signal to stop when not involved in given hand signals. A person shall be avoided making motions which make constructed as a hand signal. The figure 3.5 approved hand signals and their meanings. The crews equipped with the proper equipment, the safety path signals that they include that the brightly colored glove mitts boards for daytime use as lanterns or flashlights at nighttime use. The railroad and other means of voice communication used instead of hand signals convey information. When they use hand signals, it is not possible. Crew members shall understand exactly which moves and will be under radio and radio until use control of the train. The locomotive bell, except of the momentary stop and start in continuous switching movement. The locomotive bell shall be rung with the locomotive as it is moved when passing through a tunnel or approaching a crossing at its grade. Ringing and shall begin in advance entering crossway, providing warning. If determines the permanence of shall, you have given a 1/4 of a mile before reaching a cross, continuing until a crossing is occupied, ringing the bell and congested as the vehicle pedestrians move in and present, ringing the bell elsewhere as when necessary, and warning signal. A locomotive horn or whistle shall be conjunction within the bell and approaching the grade crossings until section 3.3. With each sixth, the horn shall be used, and whether the train locomotive approaching the train maintenance gauge, track, car inspector, or other personnel of the right-of-way, horns shall be used to alter any trespassers, dangers, or approaching the train locomotive. While the whistle blower awards, the installation shall direct knowledgeable from the installation commander in railroad operations to conduct annual review in January and installation railroad track systems determining a whistle board shall be placed. The purpose of the review is to determine the high risk of areas which predominantly remind engineers to sound the horn to warn others approaching the train. The typical areas of heavily trained shopping, office, industrial areas, schools, daycare, and center blind spots. The review address the cost of installation of the maintenance of the whistle board. However, they shall not sacrifice any of cost. Servancy and current letter signed, and dated and started an annual review of which was conducted shall on file. The reviewer can recommendations for a whistle board location shall always be listed, filled with the letter. Whistle boards will be installed within 6 months of the date of the review. Figures 3.1.4a and 3.14b provide the whistle board fabrication existing the whistle board by which is used to replace. The stop is swung horizontally at a right angle track. Reduced speed held horizontally at arm's length. Proceed raised and lowered vertically. Back swung vertically in a circle until at a half arm's length at right angle to the track. Apply air brakes. Swung horizontally above the head when the train is standing. Release air brakes held the arm's length above the head when in train standing. Hand and flag signals. 4. Headlight. Headlight is displayed in bright and day and night in front of every train, extinguishing the train that stopped and can clear of main track of the train and standing meet train at the end of the main multiple train track or in its junction in the switching locomotives, which shall display the headlight both in far and rear, and however light does not have to be one of the light is reflected back to the engineer. When switching the locomotive shall them headlights. When working on the track adjacent to the main line, the train is approaching from either direction on the main line. Engineers shall also dim lights when approaching motor vehicles operating along parallel roadways and of train members. The lead car direction of the travel shall properly protected by the train for all train movements made by sunset, sunrise during low visible conditions such as rain, snow, fog. Battery-powered flashlight shall place on the lead and trailing coupler of the last car. Short yard or switching type movements do not require the use of the end of the train. 6. The highway crossings, grade crossings. For crossing approaching activated lights and gates, the crews shall confirm the light flashing gates are down before proceeding through the crossing. The crossing which approaches the activity lane, only the crew shall confirm the lights of the flashing and have done so for at least 20 seconds before proceeding it across the crossing. Horn and bell procedure shall be followed. Sound and horn 20 seconds before the train occupy the cross, and the translate to following distance, following speed. 5 miles an hour, 150 feet. 10 miles an hour, 300 feet. 15 miles an hour, 400 feet. 20 miles an hour, 600 feet. 25 miles an hour, 75 feet. 500 feet. 750 feet for 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, 900 feet. Any lights that are observed and is not flashing as shall be reported immediately to the railroad dispatcher. When train is switching movement to be delayed, it has stopped within 200 feet of the public crossing. Protected automatic cross signals. The crossing shall be occupied either in forward, reverse movement unless the crossing signal has operated 4 to 20 seconds to the providing warning. The crossing without signal, the flagging is means best of alerting motorists and pedestrians. The industrial commander will designate crossing which is flagged and shall be included by local railroad operating directive where flagging is not used. Horn and bell procedure shall be followed. When switching movement of the highway cross of members of the crew shall flag per 3.3 when visible and restricted highway crosses by cars or adjacent tracks the crossing shall be flagged by person. Section 3.3. Blue signals, flags. Blue signal. Blue signals, flags, and lights. The blue signals are important in maintaining a safe railroad operation. Blue signals indicate someone is working in, on, or under, and between, around equipment, not movement, that the equipment shall be made. Violation of the blue signal rule can put one or two more people in the risk of death and serious injuries. Engines, wheels, whistles, dot being a long, and dash being a short. Dot, air brake, stop, short. Dot, air brake, stop, that should be a long. 2 shorts, a release brake, proceed. 2 longs, answer the signal that is otherwise provided. 3 longs, backing from the starting position. 4 longs, call for signals. 3 longs and a short, protect from the train. A short, then 3 longs, protect the rear of the train. 2 shorts, one long and a short. Approach the public crossing at the grade to be prolonged and repeated until crossing is reached. 4 shorts, call the trainmen in from the south and the west. 5 shorts, call the train in from the north and the east. Trainmen in from the north and the east. 7 longs, alarm the person or livestock on the track. That short series is a sound of sounds. The whistle board shape and dimensions with a W. Whistle board specifications: a 0.8 aluminum sheet, bolt holes 3/8 inches in diameter, facing white engineer graded, reflecting sheet black helitive letter style, standard galvanized steel use, panel signal poster, concrete placement, side track with general right angles, direction of the track, the eye level of the engineer sitting on the locomotive cap at least 10 feet of the center line of the track outside of the ballast, seen easily by the engineer. However, the whistle board should not present obstruction of the crew members or cargo of the train. Placement shall be varied in situation where variation will aid engineers. The following shall be observed. Blue signal shall be at both ends of the rolling stock. Both ends of the train are open end of the railing, end of the rolling stock, and the other end of the track. The supervisor designates representative in charge of the personnel who are working under the cars between them should be responsible for placing and removing blue signals. No person other than a supervisor who placed blue signal or the supervisor's designated representative shall remove the blue signal. Equipment shall be continued and occupied while in the blue signal are displayed. The blue signal is displayed and is a track rolling stock and shall not enter track. And care shall be spotted with closer than 50 feet from any obstruction, truck, trailer, or equipment that is following that tracks, except for servicing tracks repairs and when the rail is used to divide the tracks in separate work areas, and other rolling stock shall not be placed in the same track, and it will obstruct the view of the blue signals. When personal area and around locomotive and rolling equipment, locomotive other than main track other than a main track, a blue signal attached, and control unit and control to the unit of location where is readily visible. Engineer operating control of that engine when emergency repair into the work is done between around and locomotive rolling equipment coupled up to equipment. Blue signal is not available. Engineer operator controls the locomotive shall not be clear, understand, reach, and engineer and operator personal doing of the repairs. The red flags other than the service track repairs shall be marked out, or marked with red flag on each end of the track. Flagging protection installation shall designate the highway grade. The flagging protection, the train crew that shop the train before the lead of the railway cars. A ground crew member shall stop traffic. The crew member shall wear a safety vest and use a red flag during the day and lantern during the night. When stopping, and crew members shall not in front moving track and shall wave the train ahead only after traffic has been stopped. Switching and spotting. I'm saying track before track before a crew, or track before a train, or anyways, switching spotting cars, coupling and uncoupling referring to section 3.1 figure 1 and 2. Any movement of a loaded car and other switching of the yard shall be done by air brake system charged and functional, which switching in the yard empty cars may be moved with a connection of an air hose and sufficient locomotive braking power to safety stop and train and yard switching significant rate of a percent of for any reason of the risk event. Runaway air brakes shall be charged on all cars. It becomes necessary to move a car with brakes that do not function. Follow the railroad operating directive. This in no case will hot work be performed on a flat car railway car. Before car is moved and previously has been sighted, all wheels should be in check and present wheel chocks for the hand brakes that release the appropriate time. Wheel chocks are used to restraint and from the movement of they are stopped from loading, unloading, and other storage purposes. They are designed to prevent wheel movement and air brake bleeds after and hand brake and is released. When wheel chocks shall be painted bright color and repainted, visibility diminishes. Some wheel chocks are attached to the target to ensure visibility. Wheel chocks are hand brakes and work until one other should be substituted other for another. The installation commander shall address the use of the chocks for SOPs. The derail devices are used for technically certain tracks and intrusions of other equipment, often placed on the track that comes and contains and leads the main protected. The derail painted a bright color, repainted, visibility diminishes. Figure 315 shows the several types of derail signs. The installation commander shall address the use of derailment devices in locomotive railway operative directive. For use of roll-bys. A roll-by is a car allowed to roll free from the locomotive, controlled by someone riding a car and operating handbrake. Rolls and shall be used except for a written waiver and have been granted insulated commander and shall not be employed without no other way executing and switching maneuver possibilities. A waiver shall only be granted for special locations, and waivers shall be include specific location reason by why roll is required. The installation commander shall not grant the waiver until the review has been conducted. Flying switches movement of its locomotive is uncoupled from a car speed, moves from the speed of the time in which to be thrown in the opposite direction, and for moving car, flying switches are extremely dangerous, shall not be used. Setting at a handbrake shall be setting according to 3.1 by feature 3, and adequate number shall be held and cut of cars and spotted. At least one handbrake in 5 cars, air brake, and if braking used, and a surface reduction reduces brake pipe pressure of 30 psi shall be made prices after making handbrake and on the car and the cut of the cars can to be spotted. The angle cut of the last car the locomotive shall be closed in preparation to pull away only as after exhaust from the brake from the valve and of the locomotive cease, other than the brakes of the car being spotted by may not be adequate. So a spotting location can be spotted in such manner as a throttle switch, crossover turnouts, railway cars spotted within 40 feet of a grade crossing. Securing equipment, locomotives usually spotted overnight. Layover, observe the road. Apply the handbrake, place the reserve handle position, and place the reverse handle over the supervised control. Shut down the engine. Use the manufacturer's procedure. Place all switches and control panels to off. Place all circuit breakers and switches panels and the breaker panels and the engine control to off position. Open all knife switches. Cover exhaust. And if not equipped, external spark arresters and flappers. Drain engine. Ensure that an anti-freeze and following manufacturer recommendations of weather is probable. Stored engine turned over to at least once a month, and if possible, stirred and run in long enough to reach an operating temperature for at least 30 minutes. Railway cars are stored required in various intersections. Maintenance and dates are honored. Railway car friction bearings and shall be moved and made by car lengths of at least every day, 45-day, preventing pitting in the car that is stored in the area and vandalism. The brass journal shall be checked for any movement. Weighing of the cars can be weighed by various means: weight and motion scales, static scales with the whole car at once, static scales of the weight of the one truck at a time, or two accurate weightings are produced recommending of the scale that should be followed. The car lading is the explosive material, conventional ammunition, components, explosives, hazard mass material, Navy C, Op. 5, Volume 1. Fourth, information governing transportation, storage, and railway ordnance and cars. Handling special equipment, cranes, movements, plans, equipment as cranes is reviewed as compliance is operational restriction of the characteristics of equipment referred to Navy Fact PO 307 with Navy crane booms and trailing position reduce the likelihood of boom swinging, and if the crane cannot be placed in trailing position, an idler, buffer, or car shall be used. The speed of the railway car movement shall be restricted to the wheelbase, suspension, long booms of railway cranes, maintenance equipment, various maintenance of equipment and items that will normally be operated in public works contract maintain the forced movement of these equipment and shall be coordinated off the railway dispatcher. The special service cars or in Navy fleet are either have unusual configuration, 3 to 4 axles per truck or both, and these carefully watched operated tight curved trucks may be unable to adequately be fixed in service over a long car of adequate clearances. Consult the operative Navy directives in the railway car transporting special weapons and ordnances. Handling and suspects cars are unknown contents and have been tampered with are designated for storage. Suspect cars until they are identified. Derailments and other incidents. The conductors and engineers shall immediately report derailments other than incident to the dispatcher. Notification shall end location, injury, nature of derailment, cars, numbers, contents, and any cars that are involved in derailment. The dispatcher that show the local railroad operating directive. Note the crew should secure area and keep the authorized people away from the scene of the assistance that equipment shall not be moved. Investigated is complete except for the aid of injured personnel or injured personnel to avoid possible explosion or fire. Handling car with defects. The procedure: do not lie and attempt to to an explosive-laden railway car or cut-off cars, at least one explosive-laden railway car. Navy Seas Op. 5, Volume 1. Inoperable brakes car this is one. Inoperable brakes cars inoperable or malfunction brakes may be moved, and if their brake systems can be cut out or can be located between two cars and that have operating. Overheated journal's car overheated with a journal may be moved or walk and speeding into the nearest set out point. Broken car wheels or car with wheel defects should not move until maintenance personnel inspect wheels and change the wheel set up above. Improve the railway car. The crane, no crane, but the choo-choo train's crew shall report the suspected safety deficiency to the dispatcher. When the deficient railway car is picked up or repaired on site, the conductor or engineer shall report for the railway dispatcher. The report shall include a car number, nature of the defect, and the Navy owned and commercial, and information to expedite rails. When the necessary is to outboard order cars, the conductor engineer shall properly report the railroad dispatcher the car number, nature of the defect, or other information of the expedited repairs. The dead man locomotive, dead man's pedestal shall be overridden and overran reason. The reason shall be protective lives and property overridden in their purpose and defect. If the dead man pedestal is inoperable, the engineer shall notify the dispatcher immediately. Guidelines and handle trespassers and demonstrators. Refer to the specific directives related to the manners. The crew manner shall assume trespassers and demonstrators do not understand dangers extended to the stopping distance of the train. Crews responding accordingly repair all train sponsors, demonstrators, security dispatchers, both in accordance with the local railway operating directives. Operation of car movers, high rails, tactable, mobile, and other track equipment. Other personnel occupied and shall permit to operate them. Operators of equipment shall follow the manufacturer's operator's instructions and local operation directives. Operators shall contact director of the clearance of the railway system, stating the direction of the location to enter the railway station, the route of taking the destination, the all addition movements from shall be coordinated in the same manner when they equip them and remove them from the rails. The operator shall not railroad dispatcher that the equipment is clear of rail. The equipment shall not be back on the rails with new clearance from dispatch.